Welcome back, everybody, to GDQ HOTFIX. We started out early this morning with some Sonic Advance, followed by some Sonic Advance 2, and I saw the messages in chat. Everyone's stoked to see some Sonic Advance 3. We're joined now by the entire community for Sonic Advance 3 Best Ending, and so I'm going to throw it directly over to JustFruitSalad.
Hello, I am JustFruitSalad. These are my two commentators, Kirby Mesta and Sega Junkie, or Mike 89.
How are you guys?
Hello.
So this is Sonic Advance 3. This is the last game of the Sonic Advance trilogy. There are three of them. And this game introduces... I'm going to be doing a best ending, so all Chaos Emerald, all collectibles. So I'll be doing a true boss. So first I clear out my file. There you go. So timing starts whenever I select my partner character. So, you ready?
I'm ready on time.
All right, can you count me down?
Sure. 3, 2, 1, go.
So, very first thing you might notice is that this game has a different mechanic where you can choose two different characters, and similar to the classic Sonic games, but there's an additional boon that you have with these extra characters. In fact, you can hold R to release a tag action. You might know that from Sonic 4 Episode 2, but every character has their own different tag action, and we're going to be using a lot of them for this run. As the main movement source, makes this run really interesting.
Yeah, and whoever your partner is actually changes the moveset of the lead character too, depending on who they're pairing it. So you effectively have 20 different characters in this game.
Yeah, because there is Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Cream. Currently, we only have Sonic and Tails right now, so I'm going to be using Tails in the lead and Sonic as a partner.
Right, Sonic is pretty much the MVP as a partner because his tag action is to shoot your lead character forward in boost mode.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you also need Sonic as lead at several points, but we'll explain that a bit later.
Yeah. So yeah, Fruit Salad flew over half the stage because he's fast.
Yeah.
Tails' flight works differently in this game than other games, at least if you pair with Sonic, because Tails does not lose speed when you ascend. He just keeps his speed. And if you start flying after a Sonic tag action, you keep all that boost speed, even though you're not in boost mode.
So what I'm doing with the pause buffering is that essentially what Sonic does is that he places a invisible boost pad under your for exactly 1 frame whenever you release R. So what I'm doing with the pause buffering is I am pausing, letting go of R. Oops. I'm pausing, letting go of R, and then holding A and then unpausing.
So he's releasing R and pressing A on the same frame, basically.
Yeah, I'm using a pausing with it, basically.
So he's also kind of making these little detours to get the Chow. Every zone, there's 7 zones, and every zone has a special stage. To get to the special stage, you have to get a special key. And to get a special key, you have to get all 10 Chow in each zone. Some acts will have 3 Chow, some acts will have even 4 Chow, some acts will have 2 Chow. This one has 3 Chow.
And almost all zones also have 1 Chow on the map. The key thing about the Chow, and then by extension the routing of each of the overall stages, is that when you collect the 10th Chow, a series of special keys appear, and that's how you get to the special stage. So from the moment you collect the last Chow in the stage to the end, you need to be able to find the special key. Now, in almost every there's one thing I forgot there. There's actually 2 kind of patterns of keys that can drop. So you actually need to be able to go past 2 possible locations. In almost every stage you can do that. There is one stage you can't do that, and you just have to take a 50-50 shot. And that's about 45 minutes into the run, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to the plus keys later.
There are a few cases where you can get a worse pattern and lose sometime, but you can still get the key and finish the stage without having to redo it.
Oops, I'm stuck on these rails. No worries. Down here.
Yeah, running this game with Sonic as your tag action can be really fun and difficult at the same time because you have to know know in advance when you want to release your tag action, and then you have to hold the R button about a second and a half in advance before that because it takes 1 second and a half to charge your tag action. You can make it take only 1 second with a certain exploit. I don't really know if it's intended, probably, but we'll get into that later.
If you take damage or like interact with any of the course elements while you're holding a tag action, then it'll only take 1 second instead.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use that to get tag actions a little sooner than you normally would. Right here, I'm trying to make a cycle around 24, block cycle. It's actually really interesting because a lot of these routes are either like a little bit different from the any percent routes or a lot different. Like this level is like completely different from percent.
And he's also doing the last stage, first stage last, partially because of the special key routing, as Mike mentioned, but also because in the hub of Zone 1, the special stage is on the far left side of the map. So he kind of wants to get the chow on the map that's on the far right side and then go from right to left, so just act 3, then 2, then 1.
Okay, so at this point, the key spawns. There's one there, and then if you don't get that one, there's also one that appears right next to the spring at the end here. So it doesn't matter which pattern you get.
Yeah, it doesn't lose or save anything. So moving on to the first special stage, these are pretty interesting. They're more so auto-scrollers, but you're on top of the tornado, and you have to move along this 3D plane in order to grab ring. And these special stages are pretty lenient, so I don't really have to worry whenever I get to special stage 7, phase 1. There are 2 phases for each of these, so...
And there's no way to really speed these up. You can lose time, well, aside from failing, from certain points in the special stages. There are these blue boosts that you always want to hit because they won't make you go faster. You always want to hit them anyways because you get double the ring count while you're going fast. Those boosts. Yeah, special stage. Perspective's a little janky, but not as janky as Sonic Advance 1 special stages.
Yeah, once you get used to the depth perception, then they're pretty easy, not gonna lie.
Yeah, later on you'll see a couple of other things that they add to them, like there are these grey bombs that you can jump into and they drop 5 rings. Also there's the flashing rings are worth 5 as well.
Yeah, those are really hard to see. You're probably not going to see them, honestly. Like, you'll probably get them, but it's really hard to distinguish them from other rings.
Yeah, it's even hard on the normal cartridge. It'll be much more difficult on this stream.
Yeah.
The 2 at the top there were flashing, if you could make that out.
I think I missed the ring rip run.
Oh no, ring attack world record.
I missed 1 ring, oh no.
Isn't the ring attack record 243 for this?
It's 240,
it's
I believe.
240.
Oh, 240, okay. I'm thinking of stage 2 then, I think. Not world record. Bad run. Invalidated.
And so this is the general procedure that we're going to be doing with every zone. We're going to be doing 3 acts in whatever order, and then we're doing a special stage, and then we're going to move straight to the boss, and then that'll be it for the zone.
Yeah.
And the part I did act 1 last, so because this, I can guarantee both key positions. There is actually a route where you do act 3 last, but you have to. I wouldn't recommend it.
I did actually at one time experiment with a route that came back to get this emerald near the end, because after you have the first set of credits, you come back to Route 99.
Yeah, that was the main idea.
Yeah, unfortunately, because only Act 1 has a good special key route at the end, it wasn't worth it. But that would have been a really fun one to try and explain.
Oh god. Bosses take 8 hits. Tails' hitbox for his tails are pretty big, so he can kind of just hit Eggman while Eggman crushes tails each time.
Yeah, you just damage boosted through it each time.
Okay,
And
funny you
another
ask in
thing-
the chat about changing
Yeah.
characters, because this is going to happen a lot. So we're moving into Sunset Hill now. In each of the following 3 stages, Sunset Hill 3, Toy Kingdom 3, and Cybertrack 3, each of those have a mini boss at the end of them, and they also unlock a character at the end. You have to have all the characters at the end to get 100%, But in order to do that, you must be playing with Sonic as the lead character in that stage. So as soon as he goes in, as soon as you go in, or maybe a bit later, he's going to switch.
Yeah, I'm gonna soft reset the switch because it's faster to do that.
Yeah.
It's like 11 seconds for a soft reset. I'm gonna switch to Sonic and Tails and do Act 3.
This is kind of a free reset, sort of, because normally you have to kind of wait for these cutscenes, but the game already saves you clearing the act earlier, so you can kind of do a soft reset and use it as a quote-quote free team swap. Because otherwise, if you want a team swap without resetting, you have to go all the way back to the start of a hub, go into this pipe, pick your character, and then come back out.
Yeah, whenever I'm gonna unlock Knuckles in this level, and whenever I do that, I have to watch like a 15-second cutscene. So it's faster soft reset. As mentioned before, it's fast. It's like 11 seconds.
So yeah, Sunset Hill 3 is kind of weird. If you look at the map, you can kind of see it's a giant box with all these maze-like things. It's really janky. And Sonic Tails is a pretty solid team for the stage because it's a very vertically oriented stage.
Yeah, so that's the other reason I picked Sonic and Tails. Not only because of character swap, character unlock system, but also because they're also really good for this level.
Yeah, and if you couldn't tell, Tails' tag action is to toss the lead character up really high, which, again, is really good for vertically oriented stages.
So, Tails' tag action actually varies depending on whether you're on the ground or not.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you're on
that
the
too.
ground, he does that massive launch, but and also in the air, grab hold of the part of the lead character and just kind of fly him around like you would in, you know, Sonic 3 or whatever.
Yeah, and you generally want to use like I think it's called like the leapfrog throw, the ground attack action. You generally want to use that more than the other attack action
Because flying is really slow.
But yeah, but like, you know, flying has its uses at time. See it much later. But now, as I said before, I'm gonna have to soft reset here because it gives me a good reason.
Yeah, it's on the whiteout where the game saves you unlocking the character. So you can just reset after that and then skip the cutscene. And
Sometimes
also,
the easy input there. I don't really understand how it levels, but I'm gonna be going back to Tails and Sonic here and doing Act 1. Sunset Hill is pretty interesting because you do different routes you can do.
Oh yeah, the other thing is that certain teams in particular have additional parts of their moveset.
Mm-hmm.
So when you play as Sonic and Tails in either order, you get the trick system from Sonic Advance 2.
Yep.
Yes.
Tails.
And that's just one
I think Cream and Amy get a similar
yes.
trick
There are
system.
They also do.
There's only 14-second trick: Sonic Tails, Tails Sonic, Amy Cream, and Cream Amy. Any other team you can't trick with, and that actually has its uses here and there. So
Ooh, that was on a good cycle actually.
you can also get like different kind of moves. Like for example, if you have Sonic and Knuckles, then Sonic has this really long, really powerful side attack, which is completely useless but still cool. Tails can insta shield in this game if he's paired with Knuckles. There's a lot of cool little moves you can do depending on the team.
Yeah, there's a lot of different like team diversity. It's really cool. You won't see too many of the teams just because the teams that are good are just so good. Team. And then
I want to
Amy
say
later
you'll
on.
see at least like 6.
It's around 6 or 7. And there's 20 teams in the game, so that's
Oh,
considering that it costs so much time to switch teams. That's a pretty decent chunk.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
so
that was actually kind of impressive.
I missed that goal ring
Yeah.
or that act ring. Oops. I got subpixels there. Another. We were talking about subpixels earlier. It's basically like a unit that's not smaller than a pixel, and it works really weird on slopes. Sometimes if you're at a certain speed and you hit the slope in a certain way, then you'll just come to a complete dead stop, and it's really effectively random. You can avoid it, but I don't know, it's just part of learning the game. It's learning where you can get subpixels.
Yeah. Okay.
And the last chow here.
In this stage, after the last chow, he has to take a slightly different route, and if the key is in the wrong place, it won't be obvious why he's going this way, because he's going past a location where a key can be.
Yeah, so he can just go to the end of the stage, and it's about 10 seconds faster than the route he's taking now. But he's taking the route he is because the special keys could spawn up there. But he got the fast pattern instead, so he didn't have to do that.
So now it's behind. Yeah. behind that last springboard thing.
Yeah.
So time for the special stage.
Those vertical springboard things are kind of weird in how you time it, and I think you have to be still to get the jump properly, so otherwise you can just jump off to the side like a regular jump if you're moving. They're a bit finicky.
Yeah.
So it's this stage that's 243, or is it 263? I don't remember.
Pretty sure it's 263.
I know there's a stage where the ring cap is 265. I believe it's either 4 or 5. I don't remember. But yes, so chat's asking about the version of the game. You can change the text in any version of the game. So you can play in Japanese text on any version of the game. So that doesn't matter. However, there are some janky version differences between the North American version, the European PAL version, and the Japanese version. Some really janky differences. Basically, the more rings you have, the more air mobility you have for the most part, which is the same mechanic as in Sonic Advance 2. The effect of that is much stronger in the PAL and Japanese version than the North American version. So you save a little bit of time with every jump you do.
Yeah, it's a little bit of why I use this version. The main benefit of the US version is that there are some boss quick kills, sort of, or off-screen boss kills that you can get that save time. And some of those are in both versions, some of those are only in US version for whatever reason. It's kind of strange because the US version came out first.
Yes. So the Too Long Don't Read version is that the European and the Japanese version, gameplay-wise, are exactly the same, but they have different sound effects. The European version has has a different sound effect from the other two versions.
There will also be a small routing difference, specifically for best ending, that where PAL and JP do save a fair amount of time, 10 seconds.
Yeah, because there's specific power walls that they removed in the
yes,
or Japanese version,
Cybertrack
or they added in the
yeah.
Cybertrack 1's one of them. There's one in Toy Kingdom as well for some reason.
Oh my gosh, I can't turn off my alarm.
But yeah, we were also confused by why J-Ash, another IL over this game, was getting so good times in Toy Kingdom 3, I think, because there was one wall that was just gone, and it's a version thing. If you take that route, then it's faster to play on the PAL or Japanese version, because there's an extra wall.
I'm going for an off-screen.
So yeah, we didn't talk about this, but when you deal the finishing blow on these bosses, you want to deal the blow such that Eggman is as far right to the screen as possible. Ideally off-screen, but you can't do that in most cases. That's because you can't regain control of your character until he flies off-screen. However, this is another weird version difference where in the North American version, you can move immediately when he's off-screen, whereas in some bosses for the PAL version and a Japanese version, you still have to wait an extra second or two, which is where this version loses time.
Specifically for that boss, it works JP as well, which you just saw there.
Why did they make this change? I don't know.
It is such a weird change to make. Anyway, so,
I'm gonna be soft resetting to switch to Knuckles and Tails. This is gonna be the only time you see Knuckles.
Yeah, I think this is the only time in the current route.
yeah, because there definitely is there's a wall that Knuckles has to get into in this stage, and using Sonic with him is not very good because it removes his ability to climb walls, taking away basically his only advantage.
You have to play as Knuckles and Tails for this early game because you have to use Tails' tag action and you need the power. So there's something called power. There's normal barriers and there's power barriers. And normal barriers can be broken with any team, but power barriers can only be broken with Knuckles or a team with Knuckles as partner. I'm gonna grab a checkpoint on purpose there because I'm setting up for a death warp. I'm gonna take damage on purpose.
Because in order to get the Chow he's getting, there's two Chow he's getting right now. First one is pretty simple, but the second one requires falling all the way back down to the start of the stage. Which is why he's going to take a death warp soon to come back up to the halfway point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
power
throw
team
myself
will
into the
also
enemy
break-
and hope that Tails doesn't mess me up. Tails mess me up.
A power team will also break non-power
Sure, tries not
walls
that.
quicker.
Oh, I didn't think about death warping on that enemy. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a little routing that I did.
So a normal team will break a normal wall in 4 hits, and a power team will break it in 2.
Hammers will also break it in 2 hits. That's
That's
a
another
little
benefit to
tidbit.
hammer. Although again, hammers are not power attacks, so they can't break power barriers.
They're just a little bit stronger than normal attacks.
So the thing, you also might be noticing that Knuckles' glide is a little bit altered when he's paired with Tails. He doesn't just do his normal usual glide, but rather when he starts to glide, he kind of does a mid-air jump, which is generally a good thing because it gives you a little bit of extra height. It is a little bit slower and then it costs time, but it's still very nice. I think you do the rest of the zone with this team.
Yes, you all the way until a Toy Kingdom. I'll be using
Yeah,
Ames.
switching here is really bad because it takes you back to the start, and there's no way to shortcut your way to the other.
Yeah,
Goal
the Pup
rings.
World's super linear, so like you lose a lot of time.
And you ideally would use
Good
Sonic
switch.
Tails because that is a faster team overall for Act 2 and 3, but again, swapping teams is not worth it. And Knuckles' Tails still is perfectly serviceable because the main reason you want Tails as your partner is his tag action, not the lead character.
Yeah, although it must
Yeah.
be said that anytime you use a team that doesn't have Sonic in it, either as lead or partner, they
gonna
cannot
take the save.
get, boost mode.
Yeah,
Yeah, these
similar to
sections
how
are
you have access to power attacks only if you're with Knuckles, you also have access to boost mode only if you have Sonic in the team, which is why you'll see Sonic in almost every team.
Yeah, boost mode. Unlike in Sonic Advance 2, it exists in this game, but you can get it through Sonic's tag action, so it's easy to maintain. Like Sonic Advance 2 boost mode. Taking some intentional damage just to speed up the process of climbing the tower.
Yeah, and he also skipped a pretty big underwater portion. The game kind of puts in an intentional shortcut there, which is kind of cool. Like,
Yeah,
it's really
a lot
cool
of
because the level design in this game, they very clearly made all these shortcuts for you to take advantage of tag actions. So it's kind of evidence. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and that sequence of jumps with Knuckles and his bounce upwards that you get with Tails is quite cool.
As you can tell, this is a very vertical level, so having Tails as your partner is very important.
Yes, and you're able to make a lot of intentional shortcuts. I'm gonna take this one safe also because crushers tend to be janky in this game. So not on like a world record run or anything. So I'm not gonna take that risk. It's still pretty good. Sub 150 is always good for that level. These levels are pretty long, despite us having the best teams for them. In any percent, you would actually use Sonic and Tails for this whole zone.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't need to use the power barrier.
So Act 3 is relatively short from what I remember. Conveniently enough, we have to watch out for the special key but in the last Chao is at the very end of the stage, but conveniently enough, special key is always going to be on your path no matter which of the 2 patterns you get. So
You just don't want to accidentally despawn one places.
oh yeah, there's a
I think I'm
really
mixing
dumb
up.
glitch with that,
Oh.
which ruins some routing. Because basically, if you pass through an area where a special key could spawn, but you don't have it spawned yet, and then you get a Chao, it still just won't spawn there. So basically, that means if there's a special key location near the end of the stage, if Fruit Salad scrolls screen to that special key location before getting the last Chao, then it's just not going to spawn if we get that pattern.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take that a little bit safe when I get there.
And it's dumb. It would have made routing so much better because it actually ruined some routing in Twinkle Snow and Sunset Hill because of that glitch, but oh well. That's how it is.
I'm taking the speed shoes there. That's gonna be one of 2 places that use speed shoes. They're useful when they're handy, but it's not really good to go out of your way hard to get them.
Yeah, I think the speed shoes are
Like a
still
fan
fine
form.
in this game. It's just that there aren't very many and ordered too far out of the way, so.
And Sonic's tag action's really broken.
Pretty much everyone's tag action is really good except for Knuckles, so.
Yeah, Knuckles tag action, and we don't talk about that.
Yeah, you'll pretty much never see Knuckles as partner.
with one exception. Amy Knuckles.
There is there is a
Sonic Knuckles
occasion
is
where
good for
it's useful in a
endgame.
boss fight. But
Yeah,
that's
Sonic
it.
Knuckles is good too, but not because of the tag action.
So moving on to Special Stage 3, I want to say that most levels have 3 Chow in them, and then there's like a Hub World Chow. It's like 9 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, 10 Chow. This level actually had no Hub World Chow, so the first 2 levels had 4 Chow, I think that's enough, and then the last level had 2 Chow.
Yeah, like someone in chat is asking about Sonic and Knuckles. The reason why they're pretty good for some bosses is because Sonic gets a little extra attack where you can kind of do a mid-air attack above him. That's really nice for hitting certain bosses that are above him.
Such as the one that's coming up.
Yeah, such as the one coming up, but it's
not
really
worth
good
the
because
switch
you need a
time.
tag action to do it, because the tag action takes over a second to charge each time.
Oh, speaking of which, the boss coming up is 2 major RNG bosses. Yeah, I want to say about that. Like it's only my time is basically only based on luck. There's a good pattern and a bad pattern, and I can get 3 hits on a good pattern, and then like a maximum of 2 hits on a bad pattern, but it's hard. So I wanted to do 2 good patterns so I can hit him twice at the fight.
But again, I mean, Sonic and Knuckles will be good for the boss, but it takes way too much time to go back and swap teams, and this team can still beat the boss pretty quickly, so...
Yeah, you'll see Tails' aerial tag action, as stated before, in a moment.
Yes, you can't use the ground tag action because it doesn't turn Knuckles into a ball, so he's vulnerable as he goes up. But using the flight one, you can actually have Tails damage the boss, which is not as easy as it looks because the boss above you is moving left to right. So these hits can be kind of tricky to get, and we'll see how Fruit goes with them.
It's pretty much impossible to hit him with Tails' attack action if he's actually moving left and right. So you kind of have to time it such that you hit him, get as many hits as possible before he starts moving.
You notice they also very, very slightly went up that ramp as well. If they had gone too far up, they would have lost the tag action. But you do need that slight extra bit of height off the ramp to go straight to the platform there.
So this is the boss you're talking about. It can either stop normally, as it just did, or it can fold its legs and then stop doing a shockwave. And I don't want it to do that because I can't hit it 3 times. It does that. Oh, that was really good luck.
Yes, if we get 2 good patterns in a row, the boss is known for, so that's really good.
That was amazing luck. Also, the amount of time he takes to ground pound is also luck. So, and this is a really good position for me too because he's going to go off the screen faster.
I don't think I've ever seen him come back down that quickly.
That was
certainly
really
not
good luck.
also while not hooking his feet back in.
This run is blessed, let me tell you. So
wait for
I'm going to
the
be
boss.
switching back to Tails and Sonic, and this is going to be the last time I'm going to be using Tails and Sonic, but fear not, as Tails will not be gone from the round.
Toy Kingdom is up next, and the good part about this game is that it doesn't have a casino zone. But it has Toy Kingdom, which is basically the casino zone quote-unquote of the game. It's not too bad though, it's basically just cycles all over the place. It doesn't have too many like bouncers that'll just make you fly all over the place, or things that will slow you down.
Just a lot of crusher blocks that get in your way.
There's a lot of crusher blocks, which this game is kind of notorious for. Crushing physics are really janky, and it's really easy just to get crushed, even if you're just running against a wall, for example.
Yeah. I need to go on my way to grab this Chow. This cycle's at 17, so I don't have to be too fast here. My time. Cycle's right here. I'm gonna be waiting for the next one. Next one's 29.
Okay, so these blocks have some interesting properties.
Yeah.
29.
Well, any blocks like that.
Nice, perfect
It's just-
cycles.
You just see most of them in Toy Kingdom.
Yeah, so anytime you have those blocks that move up and down, if you stand alongside them and you've run into them, they'll actually conserve your momentum, which means that as soon as a gap opens up for you to move through them, you will be pushed through, but you won't
that
have
was so
enough
good.
space and you'll die.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, that's how
really
crushing
silly.
works in this game. And like you can get crushed by a block that's moving away from you, basically.
Yeah.
So it's really done. I'm gonna be going for 45 cycles here, hopefully. Really hard to get. And if I mess up the first part, then I won't be getting it. One pace. Ooh,
So,
that was kinda close.
There are these red and blue blocks that kind of alternate between red and blue. A lot of people thought they're random. They're not. They just alternate based on the time. All you have to do
yeah.
is stand on the blocks when it's blue.
Yeah, they're cycle-based much as the blocks are cycle-based.
Yeah, those cycles actually don't get interrupted by the spring or the spikes popping up. So you can actually, if you time it just wrong, you can actually lose an entire blue cycle, and that
Oh,
sucks when
yeah.
that happens.
It sucks when it happens. Like if
I
you
made
just happen
perfect
to land on
cycle
it
there.
as the red cycle is about to end, then you'll just entirely miss the blue cycle.
I made a perfect cycle there. I want to make a cycle at the end of the stage, and that was a 45. Oops. I don't know what to do here. There. There you go. We stated earlier that we need to unlock characters. We're going to unlock Amy in Act 3, but we have to be playing Sonic, so we haven't collected the Help World Chow yet, so I'm going to go out of my way to do that and then reset.
The any percent route actually goes out of its way to get Amy because Amy's actually just really useful in this run. There's one huge reason for it, but Amy's
Yeah,
also
we'll
just
get-
a really good
we'll get to there.
character.
We'll get to there when we get to there. Going back to Sonic and Tails, they're also pretty alright for this act, so...
I think you're not going to see Tails Sonic anymore for the rest of the run. If he's going to use a team with Sonic as a tag partner, he's going to be using Amy Sonic, which is also.
Oh,
a really good team.
I have Tails later.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Tails Amy, remember?
Oh yeah, just not specifically Tails Sonic.
Yeah. You need to make a cycle here at 13. This level is a little bit better than the other levels. This is personally my least favorite zone because there's not a lot you can do to optimize it. Just like cycles, you have to make cycles, be good at making cycles. But this level doesn't have as many block cycles, so it's a little bit more forgiving. Again.
Oh, yeah, this stage is also the stage where there's a tunnel with 2 power barriers in it, but in the European PAL and the Japanese version, there's only 1. So, yeah. Why? Don't ask me.
Oh my gosh. Just barely grabbing that child there. There's like a million ways you can do that room.
I just wing it every time. That's probably why I suck at the stage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again,
gosh.
if you start slightly up that ramp, you're able to get high enough to reach the chow there, and if you don't, you won't reach it.
Social Ski was in the first spot, so that saves me time of going a little detour. Now I'm fighting General again. This guy has a missile attack now. I actually want him to use a missile attack this time. Oh my gosh, really? I swear, it doesn't make sense where his hitbox is a hitbox. But Tails helping me out there, making that fight pretty fast, pretty good.
Yeah, general dashing across the screen is usually the bad pattern. So,
I like doing a jump dash. If he's doing a normal dash, then that's a good pattern.
that's fine, yeah.
Especially later on in the fight general. I unlocked
Yeah.
Amy right there. I'm going to be choosing Amy and Sonic now. Finish zone with.
Yeah, so Amy Sonic is a really good team. You're basically trading Flight for a Hammer, and Hammer in this game is pretty solid. It's nowhere near as ridiculous as Advanced 1's, but the hitbox actually exists, unlike Sonic Advanced 2's Hammer. It's very good for hitting springs and getting a lot of speed out of it. And there's a lot of spots where that just saves a lot of time. Because flying is slow vertically.
So Amy in this game, she'll usually act like she does in Sonic Advance 1, where she has no spin dash. She just has a giant step. It's less useful in this game. She can't like straight jump, but For this team in particular, Amy kind of acts like the way she does in Advance 2, where she'll always curl into a ball. She can still make use of her hammer like an attack.
She could spin attack if you do Amy Knuckles, or spin dash. It's just that she doesn't actually roll. You just
It's more like a peel out.
It's basically a peel out, yeah, which actually has its uses and advantages over spin dashing. So it's really Amy Tails and Amy Cream, which are really bad teams because they can't spin dash. But I don't think we're gonna see Amy Knuckles in this run. It did used to be in the old route because Amy Knuckles is a really good team, and it's also used in all the TASs because it's a really good team. Because Amy Knuckles has the unique property of being able to spin dash up walls. Wait,
That's
no, it's
Knuckles
Knuckles Amy.
Amy.
It's Knuckles
Knuckles
Amy. Yeah,
Amy.
Yeah, you're getting that mixed up.
Never mind, I'm wrong.
It's all right. No worries. Knuckles Amy, we won't be seeing them in this run, but they're super good TAS because TAS spin dashes are,
Yeah, you can just like spin
Super
dash
good.
jump off of walls repeatedly over and over again. It's really cool. But
Is
there
that
are a
not
few
in this
ILs where
route
they're the
anymore?
fastest team. So I think they're the fastest team for Ocean Base 2 and Sunset Hill 3 currently.
I thought Sonic Tails was faster for Ocean. I don't know.
Are they? It's really close between them.
Always use Sonic Tails there because any percent things.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But anyway, that special stage is done. Now we're moving on to the worst boss because, the special stages, they're like 2-minute auto-scrollers. You want to see another 2-minute auto-scroller? Welcome to Toy King the
Yeah.
Boss.
Yeah, so yeah.
A
Awesome.
2-minute auto scroller with a potential minute variance.
Yeah, so you have
Potential
to hit the
minute,
boss
yeah.
10 times.
Like, the absolute, like the worst outcome. Like it's usually just like 10 or 20 second variant, but the absolute worst outcome is like
yeah, so for the
Okay,
first
so what's
7
going on here
Go
is
ahead.
there's 3 separate attacks that Robotnik can use after you hit him. And each of them has a different length of time that it runs for. The ideal one is to get the Jack-in-the-Box as many times as you can. Unfortunately, well, A, he didn't get it first up. In fact, that's the slowest one, the rocket. Unfortunately, also, the Jack-in-the-Box becomes less likely the longer the fight goes on, to the extent
Yes.
where in the last few hits you cannot get it at all.
after the 7th hit, there won't be more about Jack-in-the-Boxes. I want to get ball and chains along with Jack-in-the-Boxes because those are only about 8 seconds, whereas Rocket 12 seconds. Jack-in-the-Boxes are 5 seconds. It's just like little bits of time. I got 2 Jack-in-the-Boxes.
That's about average. I think like good enough to get by. So yeah, if you want to IL the stage, you want to ideally go for 7 Jack-in-the-Boxes and 3 ball and chains. Have fun. I think my ILPB
Have
had
fun.
like 6 Jack-in-the-Boxes and 4 ball and chains.
I think mine's 5 and 5.
This boss right here, this is the reason why I want to do easy mode runs. This boss dies in 7.
Yeah, does it actually get pushed back further in easy mode? I haven't tried it.
Yeah.
Huh.
And actually, something that's interesting is that some of the attacks straight up won't hit you if you're right next.
Weird.
So like the ball and chain won't hit you on the way back, in easy mode, but in normal mode it will. I'm getting a lot of ball and chains right now. This is all right. Good.
Yeah, you
I
want
think that's
the ball
paramount.
and chains there, yeah, because you can't get Jack-in-the-Boxes anymore.
Missile to end it with. Rip.
What was that? 2 missiles, I think?
That was
It was like-
4.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention because, very engaging fight here.
It's an off-screen kill we can go for. I'm not gonna go for it. I don't really feel like it.
Well, yeah, because if you make a mistake with it, can't you get knocked off the left edge and die, and then you have to do all
Yeah.
that again?
Gotta do the 2-minute auto-scroller again. I mostly do it just because of fear of the ball and fit. We're moving on to Twinkle Snow. This first act is going to be a warm-up because Act 2 is going to be the first major skip, and then Act 3 is going to be the coin flip we mentioned before. So there's a lot to this zone.
And as Fruit Salad is going to demonstrate, Amy Sonic is a perfectly
Oops.
competent team. I mean, fight is very useful, don't get me wrong, but it's not like OP where Tails is always going to be the best in most situations.
I'm gonna have to go into dip into the water for a bit to get some chow. I would have liked to not take damage here because if I play this act perfectly and don't take damage, I get an extra life, and that helps for the 50-50 that's coming up. But more onto that when we get there. And so you see this other move that I'm using is called this air dash, and it doesn't have a hitbox unlike some other air dashes, but it's really good because it really easily cancels into edges. So I'm going to use it right here. Like you won't see that animation because I canceled it with the platform there. It's a really good way to regain air control and optimize like little corridors. Oh, huh. I did a crank perfect jump on there on accident. Love it when that happens.
It's like a confidence booster.
You messed up the pause buffer, but you got the jump anyway. That happens a surprisingly higher amount than you think.
So we just pause buffer so quickly that sometimes we just get it naturally and miss time to pause itself.
Alright, so that stage was fun. The next one will teach you not to take anything for granted, up to and including walls.
Yeah. This trick was found completely on accident.
I'm gonna focus for this.
You need it. Go for it. We'll explain afterwards.
Yeah, water jump. Oh, I missed the challenge. Alright, back up.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, that worked out.
No! Yeah! Or you hear that in the US version, not this version. But
Yeah,
it's really
and
funny because
thankfully in
Amy
this
dies.
game- Thankfully in this game, it's okay for you to die after hitting the goal because it still counts as a completion, unlike Advance 1 and 2. So, yeah, so there's a pass swapper thing that happened at the start. Basically, when Fruit Salad hit a string with a hammer, you're supposed to pass through like 2 pass swappers in a row, but he actually skips one of them completely, and so the game thinks he's on the wrong room layer. And then by making sure he doesn't hit any pass swappers intentionally while running across the water, he can just skip the entire stage, basically. And also get all 3 chow while doing it.
Yeah, the 100. I popped off and I got that water jump because it's like a really precise jump that I kind of go on. I kind of hit with instinct. I don't have like a cue for it, and it stays like 10 seconds over the backup. Like it's really good to get.
Yeah, the thing that makes it work is A, a lot of the chow are close to the water level, and B, you can, as long as you have boost mode, you can run along the water.
I'm getting that extra life
Nothing
on.
else in that stage is solid. Like, pretty much everything is not solid anymore. The walls don't do anything. You can't land on anything other than the water itself. But anyway, we're now coming up to that 50-50.
Yeah, there's either going to be a key above the snowman, or there's not going to be a key above the snowman. Place your bets. Yeah, we did it! First try key, let's go!
Nice.
That's what I like to hear.
And so I'm going to break up the monotony a bit. Instead of going to the special stage immediately, I'm going to clean up at the end of the game. So I'm going to go to the boss right now. And then I'm going to be doing it later whenever, because I have to watch the credits and then go back to, yeah.
So this boss is kind of interesting. You're kind of constantly climbing up a tower and you have to constantly jump from platform to platform. The only way to damage this boss is to drop platforms on top of Eggman. So with certain setups, there isn't really any real luck to this fight. You just, as long as you're hitting him on the first possible frame with the platforms, you're usually going to get the same results. And Fruit Salad is holding Sonic just in case he misses a jump, so he has the option of doing a mid-air jump to not die.
I believe you can get an 8-hit with any team, but it's much safer to go with for the 4-hit, and especially easy to do if your partner's saying the same. Because you can go for like extensions for the platforms.
Because Amy's tag action basically throws the lead character straight up instead of up and to the side.
You'll be seeing that a little bit later.
Yeah, you will.
For Cybertruck, I'm going to be switching to Sonic and Tails once again, because we need to unlock Cream, and also they're just good for Act 3 in general.
Yeah, because Act 3 has a little bit of an exploit, so this zone has these things I like to call pinball machines or something, where you enter it and you get fired out of one or two directions. But by using Tails' tag action just before landing, you can kind of shove the lead character into it from the wrong entrance.
Yeah, so the way that the Tails tag action works in particular is that when you release it in the air, Tails immediately takes the position of the lead character, and then the lead character is pushed underneath. And that can enable you to enter these from the wrong side.
Let's see if I can get the clip first try this time. Had a lot of trouble. Nice. I went the wrong way. It's okay, I just have to reset and try again. I want to go down because there's like a one-way there, and I can't, if I go the wrong way, then I have to reset. So, take two.
Because, you know, every Sonic game has to have a gravity zone.
Okay, there we go. We got it that time. I was taking it safe and I ended up messing up anyway. All good. No need to worry. And then I can go through there. It basically locks me on this other side, so I can't go back at all to cover that chow. So Cybertruck is actually interesting in terms of routing too, because you can either do Act 3 last or Act 2 last. And both of them, Act 2 is a little bit safer in my opinion, and it can be faster depending on if you go for the 50-50 or not. But you don't want to die at the end of Act 3 if you're doing Act 3 last, because if you die, you lose your special key, there's no way to get it back, especially after the one checkpoint that we're about to pass. So I think Act 2 is going to be a safer bet overall. Another clip there, I'm going to do one more of those.
Unfortunately for Cream, she's not really used much because she's really nice as a tag partner, but Cheese is just not that as great in this game as in Advanced 2.
And you unlock her so late too.
Yeah, you unlock her really late, and again, switching costs a lot of time, so you almost never use her.
I'll be using her.
You might use her once at the very end of the run, but that's also kind of a personal preference thing.
Yeah, you can either use, for the end of the run, you can either use Sonic and Amy, Sonic and Knuckles, or Sonic and Cream.
And they all have advantages and disadvantages over each other.
So basically, irons out. General gave me a kind of deep pattern there. Didn't give me all missiles at least. This part of the run is where he does this attack where he like jumps over you and starts shooting missiles, and like it's really easy to hit, but it costs a lot of time to get that attack. So RNG becomes like a side effect. I'm going to switch to Amy Sonic again because they're really good for the bosses this zone. Tails and Sonic is a little bit faster for the axe, but I want to keep them for the last zone too, as well as the boss.
Amy Sonic is the best team for the boss, and we'll explain why when we get there.
I don't think there's really many spots where you can take advantage of Amy's hammer in Cybertruck, but there also aren't really many spots where using Kill Sonic gives you a significant advantage. So I'm just gonna stick to whichever team requires lead switching.
You've had incredibly bad luck with those slopes.
Yeah, I keep getting just sub pixels. It's kind of annoying, but I had pretty good boss luck, so it's forgivable. I'm gonna try to do a kind of precise jump here. That's need a swap. Nice.
Oh, we should talk about this. So this stage also has another version difference that changes the route. So the wall that he just destroyed to the right of the Chow is not a power barrier in the Japanese and the European version. But in the North American version, both barriers are power barriers, meaning the only way to get that Chow is to use Knuckles. So if you're running this category in the North American version, you would have to use Knuckles on Sonic for the stage.
And then you soft reset back to Amy Sonic. So
Yeah.
it saves time to do that. I'm gonna have to grab the Chow really fast. Oh, I got the spring jump. And I'm gonna be doing the last, be my last act for this zone. And I'll go get special stage.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of the placement of the Chow there, you have to go up that way twice.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Roll into this enemy. These falling corridors are really fun. Like you just keep switching gravity, but Chow are pretty small, so they can kind of mess around with you.
So I don't think we mentioned at any point, when you release a Sonic tag action, either jumping or rolling is actually faster than just running out of it.
Oh, whoops. Fine.
The way it was explained to me in the TAS notes is that you actually get 2 frames of the speed effect instead of just 1, and you actually get launched 20% faster out of a roll or a jump.
So very rare, you almost never want to just do a tag action without a jump or holding down.
Unless you want some speed, but not a lot of speed, you always want to do a roll.
Yeah. Yeah, you see rolls a lot because you don't have to buffer them.
At the end of Act 2, I took a slightly slower route in order to cover a bad key spot. I got good key spots, so it doesn't matter, but if I got the bad key spot, then it wouldn't have lost me any time. Doesn't lose that much time to lose it if you go for the risky strat, but yeah. We're going to the longest special stage in the game. I think it's the longest, at least. Very slightly longer than the other one.
So again, it doesn't look like he's collecting rings off those grey bomb things, but they're worth 5.
Yeah, so I really want to bounce off of those. Make sure I don't get hit by them too. If I get hit, I lose 5 rings, but what's worse is that I can't collect any rings while I'm in ability frame. So I'm essentially losing more rings if I get hit. So this is the last special stage we'll be doing before the credits. I'm going to be doing special stage 5 and 7. To clean them up after I'm done credits. Because there are 3 requirements to getting the true ending. One of them is to get all 7 Chaos Emeralds. One of them is to unlock the other 3 characters that aren't locked initially. And then the other one is to have have seen the credits at least once. So unfortunately, later in the run, we're gonna have to have like a 4-minute break, but it's a good time to settle down because it's a pretty long run.
Yeah, and then the 4th and final requirement to unlock the final stage is that you have to go back and beat Ultra Emerald again with Sonic in the lead.
Yeah, so that's why specifically Sonic, Knuckles, Sonic Game, Sonic Cream are viable there. Moving on to the next boss, that's kind of random, but not technically random. I'm going to sort of like a pinball where Eggman shoots these cyber balls at me, and I need to hit them back to my camera. So it could be pretty finicky. I want to get the first 4 hits, maybe even first 5 if I'm lucky. So I'm gonna need audio cues for that. There you go. That speed booster didn't troll me that time. That's good. If I don't get these, I lose a lot of time.
Yeah, it's like the first 3 or 4 hits you can do pretty consistently, and then afterwards it's basically a luck fest. It's not really luck, but the hitboxes are so janky and inconsistent, it might as well be luck.
The angles specifically are like, depending, if you're like a frame later, then you could like hit it at a completely different angle. It's so weird how it works. I got 6 hits so far. Sonic actually trying to help out a little bit, 7 hits. He's doing his best. Help, please? Okay, cool.
So what you'll notice and
Let's pick
what makes this the best team for the fight is this is the only team where when you do a basic jump, your character spin jumps and your partner doesn't.
Yes, and so the only
So that
way
means
Sonic
you
will
have relatively more control over where everything goes.
Yeah, your partner won't be like jumping into the balls, hitting them at angles you don't want to. The only way Sonic's gonna do that is spin dashes, like a little bit that you saw there. That's actually pretty rare, so.
And you want to use Amy Sonic instead of any other Amy lead team because you want Sonic's tag action to enter and exit the boss stage quickly.
Of course. And plus, just the spin jump really helps.
Yeah, Amy doesn't spin jump with any of those other teams. You can make her spin jump, I think, by pressing B in the air, but even that might only be on some teams.
You make her hammer instead, so you actually have to like time your hits.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Chaos Angel is probably my favorite zone. Speedrun. Very dangerous though.
I'm gonna save the route.
And this is a zone where Amy Sonic really shines because there's a lot of shortcuts they can take with hammering springs.
So for those who don't know, if Amy hammers a spring, then the springs, how far the spring launches you up is actually amplified by a lot. So
It's doubled, I think.
I'm gonna take advantage of that. Diverging back to the any % route for a bit before collecting Chow near the end of the level.
You can hammer horizontal springs in this game too, but you only get the double speed for like 1 frame, so it's basically useless.
Oh my gosh, I'm sad. Okay.
That was a nice save. But yeah, like if it goes smoothly, the stage is just so slick.
I bonked. That's okay. I'm gonna grab a Chow here, and then there's a little crusher segment that I have to detour to in order to grab the last Chow. You save a little bit of time of hammering this spring. And then here comes the Monka S part.
Okay, the end of the stage is very scary.
I need to do a specific slope jump to give me a lot of height. Oh, I died. It's okay.
Yeah, there is a checkpoint just before this last section, so it's not the end of the world. But it is a very tough segment to do if you don't have Tails' partner.
It's a tough segment to do if you're just gonna YOLO it and go really fast.
I always do this strat, so like I'm comfortable with it. Just mess it up that time. That's fine. No
I'm
worries.
generally comfortable with it too. It's not too bad. Just takes a lot of practice though.
Yeah. Really have to be
comfortable
aware of your
word I've
position.
used.
Bonk. Rip.
He's going to be using the same team for Act 2, I believe, which again, this team is very good for.
And then I'm going to be switching teams for Act 3, and you'll see why after this act's over.
Act 2 has like a skip, which people found, but it's really inconsistent and no one knows why and how it works.
And I'm not really sure if it's useful in the best ending in a way, so...
Yeah, it wouldn't
We're
be.
just going to do it the normal way today. Maybe someday, but normal way for today. Ah, dang it. Fine. Oh, dear.
Yeah, there's a lot of precise jumps you have to do to make sure you're at the perfect height. Too high and you'll hit a ceiling, too low and you won't make your jumps.
Yeah, that's pretty tricky. I'm gonna go out of my way to grab a Chow here. And from this point on, very different from the any % route.
Yeah, this probably has the most spread out Chow set in the entire game.
Which kind of makes it both annoying and cool at the same time, because, you know, routing is cool, but it's also inconvenient.
It's kind of like a collectathon where you gotta go out of your way to collect a bunch of things. It's really cool, actually.
Collect all the shiny things, or rather, all the chow.
All the chow, then all the key, then all the shiny.
Amy's hammer also coming in handy with the barriers, because it takes only 2 hits from the hammer to destroy them.
Yeah, just a little bit of time saved there. I didn't flip the needle there, that's fine. Dang it.
Man, Amy Sonic's a good team.
Yeah, they're very good. And they're very good for this endgame gauntlet. Fine. See if I can make a jump here. Oh, just barely, but I did.
Yeah, the
And
jump
too. Got it.
The jump is kind of tight
very
to make
nice.
there.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna be switching teams. The first time I Chow is faster to Sonic while not still up here. So I'll reset after the screen turns white, and now I will be. Do you like auto scrollers? Who likes auto scrollers?
Auto scrollers are fantastic.
Well, I got bad news. Skipping all of them.
Oh,
There's 3 auto scrollers, and we're skipping them. All of them.
yeah. So
So the
Tails'
premise
fight
of-
yeah, go ahead.
So the premise of this stage is that you have these 3 platforms that are going to carry you through, and there are a lot of teams where you can just go past that entirely. Tails and Amy in particular has a very, very powerful flight, so they can get through this much quicker than just staying on the platform.
Yeah, much quicker. Skip saves like 2 or minutes. It's a lot of time.
A lot of teams can do it. Tails and Amy's are just a really good team for it because one, Amy's tag action is really nice, and also Tails' flight is his flight property is changing that he accelerates much more quickly vertically than if you paired him with, say, Sonic. The downside is that his flight lasts much shorter.
Yeah, it's like 3 seconds as opposed to Tails Sonic's 5 seconds. And that's the last Chow in the game. Let's see if we have the good. If not, I'm gonna try to do skip. Okay, nope, we got it. Oh, I took that so
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah. So on
I
the
can't
on the other
believe-
set, on the other set, the
Not be
Oh
alive.
wow! How did you survive that?
You don't deserve that. Wow. Well, we take those.
I was risking it for a biscuit. I really did.
Should we call you Fruit Biscuit now?
I would not mind that. Okay, so this next boss, it sort of stinks. Talk about it while I try to concentrate.
Yeah, this boss is actually similar to the Cosmic Angel boss from Sonic Advance 1. It's kind of you kind of have to be on the right side of him to hit Eggman, and it's very, very random. Like, which direction he moves is random, when he's going to start spinning is random, and it's very annoying. You can get the first 4 or 5 hits pretty consistently, and then he's going to start spinning, where you can't hit him until he ends his spin.
Sometimes he flips side and you cannot react. So, like, sometimes you'll just take damage and you can't help it. I'm getting good patterns right now, though.
This is a very good
Those
fight.
types of
Like,
patterns.
Yeah, wow! You haven't been interrupted at all yet.
this is not representative of how a fight normally goes.
Absolutely
Oh my
not.
gosh.
This fight just goes to complete hell normally.
That was actually a really good fight, though.
That
It's
was
like
really
position.
good.
I'm gonna have to wait a little bit for Eggman.
Yeah, the only unfortunate thing about it is he died on the left, which means that he has a lot longer to cross the screen before he gets control back.
And now I have one more boss. I'm moving to Alter Emerald, which we got General fight and then Eggman fight. And we're done. I mean,
Amy's
done.
tag action is really nice for the boss because it's similar to Tails' tag action on the ground. It gets you a little bit less height, but it's a little bit faster. In the air, she does the same thing as if she's on the ground. You get less height, but she knocks the lead character in ball mode upward, which is really nice for hitting targets up high.
And the other thing is that it recharges super quickly, so you can actually maintain a height, which is really handy in Chaos Angel 3.
Oh my gosh, please stop.
Right, because after Amy's tag action, you can start charging your next tag action immediately, whereas if you use
Ah!
tag
Okay,
action,
got it.
you can't charge on until you land on the ground.
General is trolling me a lot.
Yeah, you have to be really ready for that teleport attack. I think he only adds that in this version of the fight.
No, it's also in Cybertrack, but the annoying thing
is
about
it?
the
Okay.
teleport attack is that it does ignore invincibility frame, and it's like really unclear where he is invincible and not invincible. So like, I think it's technically the fastest pattern, but oh, good pattern here. I get 5 free hits here.
So he can technically use Tails' flight and just smack Eggman with the hammer, but it's really a lot easier to use Amy's air action because if you're flying, then you can't fall to the ground quickly. And
I do it for the last hit so that I can like hit him on the first frame easier.
Yep.
And that is it. Not completely it for this run, but we are going to be watching the credits now, the unskippable credits. I have to get to the end and then soft reset on a different cutscene. But meanwhile, we got like a 3-4-ish minute break. I'm not tired. I'm still ready.
This category is pretty cool. I think this category started being a thing when Sega Junkie started running it for SDA like 8 or 9 years ago or something. I think you ran it on the subway station at the time, according to your notes. Commentary? I don't remember.
Yeah, I used to have like an hour and a half long commute to work, so I would just do a no reset run of this on the way.
Yeah, Sega Junkie is actually like the first ever runner for this category, and then Kirby Master ran it, and then yeah. So I'd like to shout out you two for innovating the Sonic Advance 3 community, making it like giving us resources for all sorts of, for this category, for any percent, for all stages. And Worster was also really good with ILs. He optimized a lot of them. And I think he's done a really good job with it all. And so has everybody
been
here.
really fun to watch where it's got to. I think my initial route had, let me think, what teams did I use? So Sonic Tails, Tails Sonic. I used Sonic Knuckles at the end. I think you're going to use a different Sonic there.
I'm going to use Sonic Cream for the marathon's sake, so we can get some theme in here.
Yeah. Knuckles Tails for Ocean Base, obviously. And I think I had one other. I think I only used
Knuckles
5.
Amy.
Oh yeah, Knuckles Amy for Chaos Angel 3, yeah.
Yeah, that was an old skip. You also had to do Knuckles Sonic for Cybertrack Act 1. We didn't know about the version differences at that time.
Yeah.
And I think the really old routes dominantly use Sonic and Tails, which itself is a really good team overall.
Yeah, it's a really versatile team. You can do a lot of stages pretty well, and you don't have to go back and switch. Because back in the old reset, I couldn't soft reset. I had to go back to the ring. So there was a lot of incentive to stay on the same team for as long as I could.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense. I didn't know that was you couldn't soft reset. But I remember seeing you like do Toy Kingdom too, and I was just really impressed that you were able to make those cycles with Sonic Tails. I could never imagine doing that.
No, it's funny. My routing was made around being a cycle behind that, and I just happened to get the earliest cycle on that run, and I just gunned it the whole way.
Yeah, that was really cool to watch, honestly, when I was watching your run. So yeah, shout out to the Sonic Advance 3 community. Shout out to what's that other? There's another all stages runner. I don't remember their name, but like
Ash, I think.
J-Ash, yeah, J-Ash.
Yeah, I think so.
All stages runs ILs. He really helped show like how good Amy Sonic. So
I don't remember. There was like a specific team combination he really wanted to avoid using, so he just stuck to using Amy Sonic and found these strats with them, and it actually helped out a lot with any percent and best ending.
maybe it was Sonic Cream, because we used to use Sonic Cream,
really,
and
he struggles with the cream tag action. That's why.
So in all stages, you would use Sonic Cream for Chaos Angel, because all stages is an interesting category. It's basically just all time trials. You can switch to whatever have to complete all the ILs. So you can use the optimal team for every IL. It's like sort of a new game plus thing. It's a really neat category.
Depending on like what kind of routes or teams you use, you can use up to like 14, 15 different teams.
It's honestly really awesome.
But yeah, Cream's. We never talked about Cream's tag action, which we're almost not we're not going to see very much of, unfortunately. But
We'll see a little bit of it.
a very little bit. She gives you control of cheese, which is nice, but not super useful because again, a lot of bosses are immune to cheese. The main advantage Cream's tag action is that if you use her tag action in the air, she amplifies your current vertical momentum. So that means if you use her tag action right when you jump, then you'll gain a lot of height out of it.
It's a little bit like hitting a spring with a hammer. You gain like double height.
Yeah, or if you use Cream's tag action after hitting a spring, you get a lot of height out of that spring. So the reason why this has its own advantages over Amy and Tails is that while it doesn't give you as much height as their tag actions, you still retain a lot of horizontal speed. So it's kind of a both do big jumps with still good horizontal speed kind of tag action. Whereas Amy and Tails' tag actions don't give you much horizontal speed.
I'm going back to clean up Special Stage 5, and then I'll go to Special Stage 7.
Oh yeah, Sonic gets a homing attack when paired with Cream.
Yeah, it helps for
That's why you don't use Sonic and Knuckles. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fun fact, Knuckles can homing attack in this game.
when paired with Cream, but yeah.
Yeah.
He can homing attack out of his glide. That's something cool.
Yeah, but only when paired with Cream.
It's so arbitrary, but yes.
There's like all these tiny little cool moves you can do. It's really silly. Like, if you weren't here for the start of the run, I also mentioned that Tails can insta-shield in this game. If you have Tails paired with Knuckles, it's kind of cool. If you pair Amy with Knuckles, Amy gets a really, really huge hammer that's really slow and useless, but it's really cool.
She just gets a giant hammer. Like, where does she carry it?
It's just that we don't talk about Tails and Knuckles because that's like actually one of the worst teams in the game. Insta-shield is kind of a cool gimmick, but that's about it.
The glide's pretty cute.
It's cute.
Like
It's bad, but it's cute.
It's really funny.
What other fun team trivia is there? Knuckles, we did mention that Knuckles loses his glide when he's paired with Sonic, but that can have its own advantages as well. Knuckles basically gets his headbutt attack in the air, which is the same thing as his forward trick from Sonic Advance 2. Which
It's basically a really heavy air dash.
Yeah.
It, like, sends you really far, but it has a lot of cooldown and startup. It's really
It
interesting.
has its uses, but it's not that applicable, unfortunately. But it's cool. Cream's, if you use Cream and Sonic, Cream gets a bubble around her so she can breathe underwater.
So like, Sonic can breathe underwater.
Was it Sonic and Cream? Okay.
Yeah, Sonic and Cream, Sonic can breathe underwater.
Oh yeah, you're right.
This last special stage is a little bit hard, so I'm gonna try to focus. If I get these enemy hops, then I should be good.
Alright, you got this.
Okay, we should be done, hopefully.
Yeah, the opening of this stage is actually fairly tight. And if he were to fail it, he would have to go back into one of the stages and get another key.
That's why I really don't want to fail it.
Fastest stage would probably just be doing Act 3 over again. Oh wait, but you have to
Yeah.
switch though.
I switch again, then I switch back. It's still fast. Pretty sure. Well, not Sonic Cream probably, but I don't know the route, so... Luckily, Phase 1 is like the main hard part of it. Phase 2 isn't hard, as long as I pay attention.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention something cool. Cream and Sonic. Normally, if you have Cream as your lead character, she fires cheese, but if she's paired with Sonic, cheese doesn't home in, which has its advantages actually. She basically fires cheese in a straight line as like a missile, and that has its advantages because normally you can't fire cheese if there's no targets, or if the boss is in the middle of his invulnerability frames. I think. No, I'm wrong about that. Basically, the advantage is that you can fire cheese whenever you want.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like, I think it covers a little bit more range than cheese does normally, because cheese's range is nerfed a lot in the game. Sonic fans too. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, and Cream Sonic is just a really good team too, because I mean it's similar to Tails and Sonic, except add cheese but less horizontal flight speed.
her flight works more like classic Tails' does, where she does lose a little bit of horizontal speed, but more vertical speed. And she can also press B to just press B to cancel it. There's a lot of cool things that we're able to see in the run. Hopefully I can show off a few of them after the run. Pretty cool. So we got all the Chaos Emeralds. What that little Chow thing was a code that you can put on the title screen and let you play all the special stages in a row. It's really weird that they made it a code, not an unlock.
But you can really do this part of the stage with any team with Sonic as a lead. That's Sonic and Knuckles works, Sonic and Cream works, Sonic and Amy works. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. Like Sonic and Knuckles is definitely the best for the boss, but they have the hardest time climbing up to the Ultra Emerald.
Alright, that silver ring wasn't there before. It appears once you've beaten Ultra Emerald once, and it takes you straight to Ultra Emerald without having to play Chaos Angel boss again.
Yeah. I think so long as you beat Chaos Angel, it'll be there. So if you game over, you'll still be able to go straight to Ultra Emerald.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think that's right.
So we're gonna beat this boss again. Hopefully he doesn't give me any bad hand pattern, because sometimes he can slam directly in the middle. That's a little bit hard to avoid. I'm pretty consistent at avoiding it, but you know, like this boss, anything could happen really.
You can fire cheese at this boss, but it's a little bit awkward because you have to be on the right side and then facing Eggman, and so it's just a lot easier to use your air attack action.
Yeah, you want to fire cheese if Eggman's like in an awkward spot where you can't really hit him with Cream's tag action.
Yes, this works kind of similar to how they used Amy's tag in the first run of it.
Yep, pretty much the same idea.
And now we're gonna watch this minute-long cutscene where, you know, like Sonic 06, what other thing? In Sonic 06, you know, Eggman's trying to take control of this monster, and then the monster betrays him. You know, it's the same deal here. General's gonna betray Eggman. Spoiler alert.
Oh no.
Honestly, that's like every Sonic game in a 10-year period, starting with Sonic Adventure.
It is.
Yeah, Eggman tries to get this minion. The minion becomes really strong. Minion betrays Eggman, and so we're gonna have to go chase General.
Yep.
Using the power of the Chaos Emerald.
He's gonna actually be using Supersonic paired up with Eggman, and you also can tag action with Eggman.
Yeah,
basically once you're fully charged, you open up the weak points of General, which then you have to smash into as Supersonic.
This fight works very differently from a traditional like Doomsday Zone. The fact that you can't normally hit the weak point, but you have to charge Eggman to fire him into the weak point, to expose the weak point to hit General.
So there's this one attack that this boss does where it kind of spins around, and you do not want it to do that because it's really hard to get hits in. You can finish the boss before that, but it kind of comes down to what patterns you get. You want as many arms as possible before that happens because that just delays the really bad attack.
Ah, man. One arm.
One arm's like the worst possible pattern. Cool.
You can get anywhere between 1 and 5 arms. And also these missiles are RNG, so sometimes they can get in your way. Sonic's a little bit bigger than he looks, so you know, you can get hit and you don't think you're gonna get hit.
Time will be coming up soon, by the way.
Whenever this timer freezes, that'll be time. Oh, whoops. I had an air dash. Please don't. Okay, cool. Do more arms, please. No! I didn't get it right. So I'm gonna try to squeeze into hits using a fully charged tag action here.
Because the longer you charge Eggman's tag action, the longer the weak point stays open. Just in this fight, though.
It's a tricky sequence to do really fast because those arms give you almost no lead time as to where they're going to be.
And is that it? Nope. I'm gonna have to wait for stop spinning. My input got 8. Not going the best so far, but it's okay. And that's time.
GG.
Awesome.
GG. That was actually a pretty good run.
Well done. That's a 118.48.
We underestimated.
Wow. That
Nice.
is super
118.48. That's like 30 seconds off my PB. Pretty cool.
That is a very good time.
And so that is it for Sonic Advance 3. If you wouldn't mind, I would like to show off a few like bonus things involving some other teams we were talking about.
Sure, yeah, we definitely have a few minutes.
All right, so I will soft reset past cutscene. I would like to show off the cutscene, but I would also like to show off these tidbits. So I think one of the coolest ones are probably Sonic and Knuckles and Amy. Why did I say
Oh
Sonic?
yeah, this team is great.
They got the normal glide. Knuckles has a hammer. Every character, when they're paired with Amy, does a straight jump, but you can press B to curl it up. The coolest thing about this team is that whenever you climb onto a wall, you can spin dash on the wall. So you can also jump off the wall and like do a spin dash and then jump. Really, really cool, like that. I don't have a lot of space to play around with it here, but
I'm guessing you don't know the strat for Sunset Hill 3 with this team?
I know the strat.
Oh, okay.
Just I haven't ran at all levels in a really long time.
I don't blame you.
I'm just gonna show these off. It was the worst team in the game because they don't have like any sort of vertical. So like Knuckles tag action, these are what it is. Throw them on the ground, glide with them in the air. And you can cancel the glide too. And you also have the boxing gloves. And it's sort of like a floatier glide that loses height over time. It's really weird. You can also turn into a tornado. And he's dizzy. Okay, what else? What else is cool?
I don't think I've ever seen that animation before. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Oh yeah, you get different names under the character select screen depending on who you pair. Sonic and Tails has their own team name. Sonic and Knuckles do too, and you can see that their portrait changes. Amy and Cream gets Team Jubilee. Amy and Sonic gets Lovers or whatever. And Sonic's like, oh,
Lovely couple.
lovely couple. It's really
Yeah,
cute.
that's it.
And so this team also has a PL out where you can do a spin dash, but you don't like go into a ball. And the most interesting part of this team, giant hammer. You know, why not? Really cool. One last thing I guess I'll show off. Is that Cream and Sonic controls pretty similar to Tails and Sonic. They have the flights, only they lose a little bit of speed as they use a flight. I'm gonna go into this water section really fast. And got Cream and a floaty. That's all.
Oh, I forgot about that. It's adorable.
She's just having fun.
Can you drop out of it like Knuckles can? So
You can,
tap
I
down. Yeah.
It works basically the same way as Knuckles.
I
So,
forgot about this. It's so cute.
So yeah, that's Sonic Advance 3. Thank you so much for having me on commentary and having me run the game. Thank you so much, Kirby Mesta and Sega Junkie, for commentating with me. It was really fun commentating with you and talk about the game, talk about how passionate we are.
3 people to have run this category, and the only people with the leaderboard times on it.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. Anytime.
That's
But
a
yeah,
nice
that was
treat.
fun.
Anyway, I am finished up.
All right, well, thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back with our final run of the marathon, which is going to be Sonic 3 and Knuckles by the Sound Defense. So stick with us.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.